and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Reins. Today we are going to be learning how to do lateral flexion and vertical flexion on the ground and then in the saddle. So what you're going to need is your horse. Now you can either have them in a halter, a bosal, a hackamore, or their bridle. I have her in a bridle because I am going to be riding her after this. But you're going to want like a longer rein, preferably split reins, but it depends on your discipline, and it's really whatever you're most comfortable with. But what you're going to do is you're going to start on one side of your horse. I'll show you on this side first. And you're going to grab one of your reins. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to take their head and bend it around here. Take your rein. Now she keeps wanting to back up. I'm not really sure why, so we're just gonna pet her. And you're gonna ask her to bend her nose around. Now, she already kind of knows what she's doing, but it's been a while, and right now she's anticipating that I'm gonna be getting on her. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna ask for the face. So I'm gonna turn her around here so that we can kind of see better. If she doesn't stand still for me, then we're just gonna be going in circles for a little bit, because they start to anticipate stuff. See, like I didn't even ask her for that, but she knows that's what I'm gonna be asking for. So what you're gonna do, when you pull, and if she, let's say she's still going around in circles, like she is right now, she's wanting to go around in circles, she's wanting to move around, she doesn't want to stand still. So I'm just gonna grab her face, and I'm just using 2 fingers on it here. And as soon as she gives it to me, like she did there, and stand still. Yes, you have it. It's there for you. You can put your head back. As soon as she gives it to me, I'm gonna drop my rein and give it back to her. So again, we're gonna slide down on our rein, and we're gonna be kind of pulling towards ourself and then upwards. So we're gonna go down, and then we'll pull up kind of towards the saddle horn. You can pull towards their hip too. So like if you wanted to stand back farther here, you could pull up to the middle of their back, and that would help a lot too if you don't have the saddle on. I'm not doing it because I have the saddle here and it's a little awkward, so I'm just doing right in front up here. So as soon as she gives you her face like that, I'm gonna let go of my rein so she has it. She can feel that she has it. Right now she doesn't want to give because she's very soft, so she knows that just because I give it back, it doesn't mean that she gets to whip her head back. So you're gonna work on this until they're not leaning on the bit, they're not pulling. So like if she was pulling away from me there, I wouldn't give my rein, because you want to wait until right there, how they're soft like that, that's what you're waiting for. So if they're not soft, you're just gonna hold steady pressure on that rein until they give to you, and then when they finally give, you can go ahead and give it back. Now if they're turning in circles, they're not standing still, they're not understanding, then you can just hold the pressure the same, and you're just gonna keep moving with them, keep following with them until they stand still and they can give you that face. Because in the beginning, it's difficult for them to understand that they can move their head without also having to move their body. So that's how you can do the lateral flexion on the ground. And obviously we do this on both sides. I'm not going to show you both sides just for the sake of the video, but you do that on both sides. And then if you want to try teaching them how to do vertical flexion on the ground, you're just going to gather your reins, making sure that they're even, and you're going to just put steady pressure. She's going to yawn. You're just gonna put steady pressure on the reins, just like we did. Nice, nice. That's good though. That's all totally fine by me, because she's stretching out her jaw. I don't mind if she itches her face. Some people do, some people don't. I don't care. So I let her if she wants to. But anyways, you're gonna pick up on your reins. You're gonna wait for her to stop yawning. You're gonna pick up on your reins, and you're just going to hold steady pressure, nothing crazy. And you're gonna wait until you see her drop that nose down right there. As soon as she drops that nose down, you're gonna give that to her. Okay, so let's do that one more time. I'll show you again. So we grab our reins. Now she already knows what she's doing. So you might have to wait longer with your horse. You might have to hold the reins longer to wait for them to put their head down, but don't change your pressure. And you always want to start as soft as you can, and then eventually they'll get softer as you go. But if they're not listening to you and you're using really, really soft pressure, you can add a little bit of pressure. Do not seesaw your horse's face. It doesn't teach them anything. It's not good for them. And it just hurts their mouth. It's not doing anything. Learning all of these steps are going to be the basics into teaching your horse how to drive up into the bridle and working on collection. So that's why these steps are really important to do first. And then you can work your way up into the saddle, starting them in the saddle. If you're not comfortable starting them in the saddle right away, obviously do them on the ground first. If you're comfortable doing them in the saddle right away, then you can work in the saddle right off the bat. You don't have to do it on the ground first. This is one of those things that it's just as easy to do under saddle as it is on the ground. Now, if you're working on like a young horse who's not ridden yet or not broke yet, do them on the ground as groundwork first. So we are going to start with lateral flexion, and all you're going to do is you're going to ask your horse to tip their nose and kind of, they're either going to have their head to their shoulder or they're going to have their head about to your foot. She's yawning. So all you're going to do is you're going to grab your rein. Now she already knows this, so this is going to be a little hard, but you're going to put slight pressure on your reins using about 2 or 3 fingers, and when you pull, you're going to think pulling knee, hip, belly button. So you don't want to just pull right up this way because it pulls hard on them. It makes it a little difficult for them. So when you pull, I like to think hip, like knee, hip, belly button. And then, now again, she already knows all of this, so this is going to be a little more difficult if you're teaching a horse. Because I can't exactly show you, but you're just going to pull with steady pressure. As soon as they give to your pressure, like right now I'm not even holding it, she's still keeping her head there. If you pull on her or on your horse and they're pulling against you, like right there she wanted to get let go, right here she wants to get let go again. I didn't tell her that she gets to let go. So then when she finally is soft and relaxed, I'll give it to her. But if you feel pulling against your rein, then they are not soft. So as soon as you see their head give to your rein, and even in the beginning steps, I wouldn't even mind if you pull and you just release. As long as they're bringing you that head and they're giving you that attempt, I would be giving that to them and making sure that you're praising them. Now, making sure everything that you're doing on one side, you are then doing to the other side, because you want obviously everything to be equal. And I do this as part of my warm-up. When I'm warming up my horse, you can do it as part of your cool down as well. Depending on what level your horse is at, you could do it mostly for their training and spend a whole day on just teaching them how to flex. But so once you get that down and your horse is really, really solid with that, you should be able to use just 2 fingers to ask them to pick up and give you their nose. So now we're going to learn how to do vertical flexion. So when you're doing vertical flexion, basically think of you want your horse to give to the pressure downward. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to turn her to the side a little bit for this one. What you're going to do is when you ask them, you're going to pick up on both of your reins and just apply steady pressure. And as soon as they give you that face and they are soft in your hands and they give to that pressure, you're going to go ahead and release them. And making sure that when you release, you're making it obvious to them. Because some people, you'll release, she's thinking I'm asking her back up, you'll release like this, but it's not super obvious because if you look, there's still some tension on the reins. So when you're starting, I want you to completely release the rein all the way so that it's totally loose. So all you're going to do, if your horse doesn't want to put their head down, let's say she's not putting her head down right now, all you're going to do is you're just going to hold steady pressure on them until she wants to yawn. She's kind of adored. All you're going to do is you're going to hold steady pressure on them until they give you that face. They might have their head up. You just have to be careful. Don't pull any harder or anything like that. You're gonna keep the same pressure. You always start soft, and then you can increase your pressure as you go if they're really not listening to you. But never start really forcefully in the beginning. You always wanna start really, really soft, and you're just gonna ask. As soon as they put their head down, you can release that. Now you can see she's yawning and she's relaxing her jaw. This is her opening up her jaw and relaxing, which is great because this is warming up those little TMJ joints and all sorts of stuff. So she's able to stretch and feel a little more comfortable when she does bring her head down. So again, we're just going to ask. Now do you see how she wants to pop it up right away because she knows that she's done. Now she's still yawning, so that's okay. That is totally fine. She's just learning, and again, she's relaxing that jaw, which is great. I'm not asking a whole lot out of her, and I'm not gonna be super picky, especially when I'm just starting. Now again, she already knows this stuff, which is part of the reason why I was doing this as a warm-up. She's starting to relax her jaw, and she's starting to open up and yawn and all of that fun stuff, so that's really great. But so this stuff all takes practice. And when you get your horse good at it, then you can start doing it at a walk. And this is going to be the basics of pushing your horse up into the bridle. So we're gonna pick up into a walk, and all you're gonna do is you're just gonna be walking your horse around the barn, or around your arena. And I don't like to do circles for this. I'd like to keep them along the outside of the wall. But what you're gonna do is you're just gonna do the same steps that you did when you were asking them at a standstill, is you're just gonna do the same thing at a walk. Now the only difference is if you pull too hard at a walk, they might try to stop. So you have to use your legs at the same time to kind of help out with that whole not stopping thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get her focused here because she's looking around at everything else. We're gonna put slight pressure on the reins and ask her to put her head down. And as soon as she puts that head down like she's got it now, we're gonna let those reins go and we're gonna give her a pet. Now again, she already kind of knows what she's doing because she's basically finished. So she just hasn't had some work in some time, so she's a little rusty on some things yet, but she's a really good horse to show you the beginning steps of all of this. So notice the second I picked up on my reins, she wants to bring that head down for me, and that is exactly what I want, is the second that I pick up on those reins, she wants to drop that head down. So that's really, really great. And you're just gonna practice this, again, both ways, but you're gonna practice this, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your ride, and making sure that you're praising your horse and you're releasing that pressure, because if you're just gonna hang, if you just start hanging on your horse's face, they're gonna start leaning on the bit. So when they give to you their face, and you feel that they are soft in your hand, so she's soft, but her head is still down, you're gonna make sure you release that and you give them some pets. And again, these are all the beginning steps into teaching your horse how to collect and driving up into the bridle. So I hope you guys liked that video of teaching your horse how to flex laterally and vertically. Now, again, these are the beginning steps into teaching your horse how to drive up into the bridle and collect. So we are going to be doing that video as a part 2 to this video. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel if you guys want to see more videos like this. Also make sure that you guys are following my TikTok. I will be doing a giveaway over there really, really soon, so keep an eye out for that as well. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below.